Hello and welcome back to the Jazz Ranch for part 2 of the exercises, the 251 exercises and drills. And I have a special quote for you that relates to this video, I think, by Wynton Marsalis. And he said this: "So I believed in studying just because I knew that education was a privilege. And it wasn't so much necessarily the information that I was studying, but just the discipline of study. And to get into the habit of doing something that you don't want to do to receive the information." So you see, you may not want to do these exercises, but they will help you to improve. So let's take a look now at the 251 exercises part 2. I want to be sure that you've already seen part 1 of this video before you watch this one, because one leads into the second one, of course, so you won't know what led up to this. But I will do a short review. Just looking at a root position, D minor 7, we're going to go D minor 7 to G7 to C major 7. And moving it into the first inversion now, we drop the root out of the 9th. And then to go to the G7 chord, we just drop the index finger, that half step, and we have a G13 with a 9. And then we move these down to there to get the C major 9. So that's what we would call the A form if you just want to shorten it to the Mohegan term he gave it. This would be the A form, and then going up to the third inversion up here, or you could go down to it actually like that, but we want to have it be here for D minor. There's the third inversion, same rule, drop the root, add the 9th. Now we have a D minor 9, and we just move the pinky down now to the B to get the G7 with the 13 in it. There's the third, major third, the 13, the flat 7, the 9, and then resolving it to here. There's our C major 9. Now, a good way to practice these is to play the bass note along with it, and then you really hear what it sounds like. So let's try that again. Okay, now we're going to move on to what I call random 251s, in which when you get to be using these particular voicings, you're going to mix them up. As you get better at them and become more advanced in your playing and execution of them, you're going to mix them up. And obviously, these voicings, when you get them into certain positions on the keyboard, are going to be too high. Like that D minor there might be too high and in the way of the right hand wanting to play that register. So now I will take it to the first inversion and use the first inversion for the D minor 7. Allows me to do more in this range, and down here it's going to sound too low. So there are advantages of playing now we're going to call them the A form and the B form. So the A form is the first inversion and the B form is the third inversion. So there's advantages of each category, the A or the B, in certain registers within the keyboard. We want most of our chordal left-hand rootless voicings to be in a good range, not getting too muddy or not getting too thin. Okay, so that's that. Hopefully you've downloaded the sheet on this particular exercise, which uses the random 251s in rootless voicings, mixed combination, so you can follow along with me on this. But I'm going to start out. The first one I wrote out was the what we call the B form, or the third inversion, and a 251 into B flat major. So it'd be this. Now, one thing I should explain, that this third inversion, or the B form, involves the 2 chord being in third inversion and the 5 chord being in first inversion, and then the 1 chord being in third inversion. So it goes 3, third inversion, first inversion, third inversion, and it alternates like that, because also the same thing happens when you're playing the first inversion. You start out with that, then the next chord, the D minor 9, is first inversion, the G13 is in third inversion, and then the C major 9, the 1 chord, is in first inversion. So that alternates between inversions when you're playing in a cyclical manner. This is cycles. We're doing cycles, 251s. So here's the phrase, here's the chords, and here's the first phrase. Okay, so now I'm using descending. There's a scale, there's a skip, then a scale. It goes down here to a flat 5, which is a nice dissonance to play on a in that particular usage of it, hitting on the target tone on the dissonance immediately resolves right up to the 5. So you have a little bit of tension there on the line. Now, you can play this in a variety of ways, just straight, or maybe with a jazz feeling, like, or mix it up a little bit. Now, next one is a first inversion. We're going to say A form, a 2-5-1 moving into E flat. So it looks like that in the rootless position. So now the line is this. There you have it. Now there's an ascending line in arpeggios skipping down to that target tone. The 5 on the B flat, then skipping down, resolving to the 5 on the E flat chord. So now you can, with a jazz feel, you might have. That kind of thing. Now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm not going to do all of these, but I'm going to do a few so you get the idea. This one here, the 2-5-1 into A flat major now, is like this. But in this particular case, because of the melodic line, I have to change the voicing on the 2 chord like this. Instead of like that, I'm going to have a clash right there. So I'm going to alter it to this. Now let's look at that. Or like that. So what's happening is now when I get to here, that's the flat 9 on the melody. So I want to play this or that to enhance the melody rather than having a clash like this. I'm avoiding that. So I have this. And that has a nice sound to it. That's really a sharp 9 in there, right? With an augmented. There's the 13 and a sharp 9. Let's do it again. Okay, so that would be the B form. Now here's another one that's the A form. Here's the D minor. The same thing here. I'm going to alter the dominant chord. Instead of this, I'm going to drop this one down and also this one down so that it has an augmented quality, or a flat 13. And you have this. See? That's that one. Now the next one is going to involve changing the position. So I'm mixing it up now. This is going to be a root position going up to a 3rd inversion and ending up on a 1st inversion. So it goes like this. Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, so there you see a mixed combination there. Let's see if I can find another one. Let's see. Well, you could do this. I'm just going to make one up now. C minor in that position, and then going up, in other words, it's 1st inversion, then going up to a 1st inversion of an F13 here, and ending up on a 3rd inversion of the B flat. So now it goes like this. See how that works? So these can actually be fun when you begin to understand how to use them in mixed combinations. That's as much as I'm going to do on this one. You can read it off the sheet and learn them and practice each one. I want to move on to now the practical application of these voicings in a tune. And that's what you're really working towards, is to be able to use them, playing them with a tune and playing them in improvisation. I picked out the song A Foggy Day to illustrate how to use these voicings in a tune, which is the practical application of the voicings. And so this song, A Foggy Day by George Gershwin, in the key of F. 1st chord, I'm going to go through this slowly so you see each chord. 1st chord is the F major 7. I've inverted it to the A form, or the first inversion. Second chord is the A flat 13. You play it like that. And that is the third inversion, or the B form. And then when you move down, like I'm descending in a chromatic motion to a G minor 9, keep that same position. So it's a third inversion here, third inversion there. Now the cyclical movement takes me to a C13, and that is a first inversion. So you see it goes third inversion, then when I go do the cycle, it changes the inversion to the first inversion. Now back here to the first inversion of an F6. There's the A flat again. Now here I actually went up to this inversion to mix it up. So I went from the third inversion up here to the first inversion of a G minor 9 to get closer to this. I'm playing the melody up an octave just so I have room here. See, I'm getting... Then the C7 there is in the third inversion. Then I go to first inversion of an F major 7. Third inversion of a C minor 7 to an F7 in first inversion, to a third inversion B flat, and so on. Third inversion A minor. That's the D7 now, but in first inversion with a flat 9. I put the flat 9 in there. G minor 9 in third inversion. You can really hear the inversions, or hear the chord better if you play a bass note like this. Good way to practice it. Put the bass note after the chord or before it. See, there it is now. Second ending here. Now there's a tricky sort of extension to the tune that goes like this. F major, and I'm playing that in root position just because of I want it there. And then a G minor 7 there, inverted, back to F major. Now this unusual chord, which is a B flat minor 6, is probably a second inversion of that. Third inversion A minor to a D minor in first inversion, to a G minor in third inversion, to a C7 in first inversion, then the F. So you can see how those inversions are alternating. So if you're looking at this and you can't read music, I hope you can see all of it. But one more time. I'm adding some harmony in the right hand. I'm going to try to make it swing a little bit. Take it up the tempo now. As a final note, I'd just like to suggest that you might want to check out my book. Go to my website, click on my book, and you can look at the table of contents. I have in here a lot of the theory that I teach, and all the theory applied to specific examples and exercises, and then applied to songs. So there's quite a few songs, maybe 30 songs that you can learn to play in this book, along with the theory and the examples. So please check it out. And if you're interested, just email me and I'll give you all the info. So thanks so much, and now we'll conclude. I'd like to sign off from the Jazz Ranch, and thanks so much for watching this video on the 2-5-1 progressions and so on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Let me know. I really appreciate your comments, and I try to answer all comments. So if you give me a little bit of time, I will get back to you. So thanks again, and in the words of my famous friend Hermie Dressel, who always said, swing loose. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.